Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Innovation Alley. We're your hosts. I'm TowelManPurple.
I'm Bjorn.
And today, we have a new twist of decks that we're going to be going and showcasing. Now, maybe I'm lost, but Bjorn, what are we doing this time?
I actually made a location deck. We are making location decks. I mean, you, of course, but me? Probably my first time, I guess. I don't know what came over me.
The world is spinning on the right axis. We are getting to the correct information. We are going at really wonderful things right here in this game. But before we get into it, like I've said before, if you haven't done so already, or if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and stay up to date on all the content.
Because we got 2 innovation alleys. 2.
Not
Every
one,
week.
but 2.
2.
Weekly. All right? Now, today, I'm going to kick us off, and I'm going to showcase Amber Ruby locations. This is my first take look going into set 7 for this color pair. Kind of rehash what we did in set 4 with the deck and see if we can revitalize it, rejuvenate, and bring back to life. So,
Yes.
first card in this list, I'll touch base on something from the set 4 list. Set 4, we started on turn 2 because we didn't play any 1-drops. But moving into this set, where the format is progressively getting faster and faster as the sets go on, we are no longer at the leisure to be able to do so and stay competitive. So
Yeah, and you actually have some good 1-drops now.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. So now, because after set 4, we ended up getting a card called Daisy Duck. Daisy Duck is a 1-cost, 1/4 that quests for 2. It's you can't ask for more than that. That's as aggressive as it comes, right? But then set 7 came and gave us this wonderful card, a card that people had correlated to my name in the past from a different version in Card Soldiers. Now, Card Soldiers is a 1-cost, 1/2 that quests for 1. But if there's a damaged character in play on either side of the field, yours or your opponent's, this card gets +2 strength. So it's essentially a 3/2 for the cost of 1.
Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And just for a little bit of extra flavor text, the card says, the 3 of Hearts raised his spear and whispered to himself, while others fall, a queen soldier stands tall. Now,
Okay, I mean, that's pretty cool, but...
take it in, absorb it, let it marinate.
1
the
plus 2 is
3
3.
of
It gets
hearts.
3 strength.
Yes.
3 of Hearts gets 3 strength.
Exactly.
They knew what they were doing.
They did. They correlated. They made everything look perfect. I appreciate it. Card Soldiers for the win. All right? Now, moving on.
Love those cards.
I do. Moving on to our 2 costs. We have Lumiere. 2/2 for 2. Quest for 1. But this card gives all of your other characters +1 strength. So it's just a boost. It's something that can protect you from like decks that play Under the Sea, Big Sisu. You know, it
Very
may
good
not
card.
go around all of the ice blocks and coils going around, so you kind of just want to race that deck. But it's there just to protect the ramping into these cards to help.
And it also helps you if you intend to challenge.
We were kind of leaving that one in the dark, so that way nobody knows that. But that's okay. It's true. It is true. It is a great. It is because now it allows Card Soldiers to hit 4 strength, and on a 1-cost, that's absurd because as the format progresses, right? If you look back to like set 2, 2 was like the magic number then, and then set 3 and 4, 3 was the magic number, even in set 5. But as the game progresses, I feel like 4. Maybe even 5 now is closer to the magic number. So being able to hit 4 as a 1-drop can be exceptional. All right. Now moving on to the next 2-drop, we have one of the staples of the deck that can never ever go anywhere in Mother Gotham. Now this card, 2 cost, 3/4. When it comes into play, it comes with 3 damage counters on it. It quests for 1. Okay. Now why is this card so important? Because we play the counterpart in Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Okay, now Rapunzel, a staple since set 1. if you play Amber, this card is probably in your deck. It is a 4-cost, 1/5 that quests for 2, and when it comes into play, you can remove up to 3 damage counters and draw up to 3 cards based on the amount of damage counters removed from that character.
And that is awesome.
Yes. So in this deck particularly, you can go turn 2 Mother Gothel, turn 3 Just-in-Time Rapunzel, and draw 3 cards. So it gives you other lines to go. I mean, obviously Just-in-Time is going to be for other powerful things that we'll get to later, but that's just a route that you can take that is very impactful. Now, at our 3 drops, we have Hand Sisu. It is a 3-cost, 1/4 that quests for 2, and it gets +1 for each card in your opponent's hand. So,
and I mean, now more than ever, people are drawing an insane amount of cards with their decks. So
yes. Which means that if they drew a card off of a Daisy trigger, it is okay. It just helps our character get bigger as well on the strength department. Now, there's another card in the 3-drop slot that has been under the radar since probably set 4 in Tuk Tuk. It's a 3-cost, 2/3 that's evasive and a quest for 1. But when you play this character, you may move him and one of your other characters to the same location for free, and then the other character gets +2 strength for the rest of that turn.
That's a lot of things happening just because you played a 3-cost character.
Yes, making it give the ability to another character to challenge profitably, right? Which is really cool, especially if you play cards like this 4-cost Super Goof in Goofy.
Ooh.
So Goofy is a 4-cost 2/4 that quests for 1, but it has Rush, and when this character challenges another character, you gain 2 lore. So with the inclusion of a buffed stat on the strength side from Tuk Tuk or a Lumiere, you're starting to hit these numbers that matter and make your challenging profitable since you have 4 willpower. Now, to start off our 5-cost characters, I would like to say once again, we have one of my favorites in Card Soldiers. Why is it one of my favorites, you say? Because it brought a lot of controversy the first time around when I played it. So a lot of people didn't understand why I was playing a 5-cost vanilla 5/5. Has no text. It's just 5-cost 5/5 quest for 2. Now, what wasn't really understood at the time is that stat line mattered immensely. And it's crazy how the transition from then till now, the stat line still matters immensely. So, with that being said, the card remains in the deck. Insane card, Card Soldiers all the way. Let's get it. Some more flavor to the Card Soldiers. We will also go and skip this card and come back to it. But we have the Queen of Hearts to go along with her soldiers.
Oh, yeah. All those Card Soldiers.
Now, the Queen of Hearts is a 5-cost 4/3 that quests for 1. And if you have a character challenge while this card is in play, you draw a card for each of your characters that are challenging. So it's definitely another great draw engine. It really makes your opponent think about turning their cards sideways, but we may have some things that are going to make them actually want to turn their card sideways. So going to the next 5-drop in Jim Hawkins.
Yeah.
He's a 5-cost 4/4 that quests for 2. Now, when you play Jim Hawkins, you may also play a location with cost 4 or less from your hand for absolutely the low price of free. Now,
that is crazy.
The other text line on Jim Hawkins says, whenever you play a location, this character may move to that location for the low cost of free. So, in a deck that plays a card called Just in Time, at the cost of 3, you can play Jim Hawkins. You can play Legacy once you play the Jim Hawkins, and then you can put the Jim Hawkins at the Legacy just for the initial investment of 3 ink with the Just in Time. Now, sure,
which is crazy.
You do need the 3 cards for this combo to go off, and that's perfectly fine. But it's the amount of ink that you are netting from the initial investment of 3. So if you go look at it just to try to gauge it in value, like expected value for this card. So you have 5 ink plus 4 ink, that's 9. And then 3 to move would be 12 ink. You are getting 12 ink of value for the cost of 3 ink of a Just-in-Time.
Well, I'm no scientist or math magician, but I can tell you that math is bonkers.
Yes. So in this situation, as the kids say, the math is mathin', right?
Math is mathin'. It's
so
mathin' a lot.
Now, these locations, we have the 2-cost Underworld. So it's 2 to move to the location. It has a willpower of 6. It has 1 lore pip. But whenever a character quests while on this location, you may pay 3 to return a character from your discard to your hand. So it's a slight form of recursion, right?
Well, and I think especially if you can get a Jim Hawkins back, that's gonna be pretty powerful.
Yeah, that or Rapunzel.
Oh yeah, draw some cards, absolutely.
Yep. Now, we also have the 3-cost Tiana's Palace, which it's also 2 to move to the location. This one has 8 willpower. And this location says that characters can't be challenged while here. So it is...
Which is nuts.
It is a larger sense of the word bodyguard in this game. And then move along to the 4-cost RLS Legacy. So the Tiana's Palace also has 1 lore pip, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, the RLS Legacy costs 4. It costs 3
That's
to move to that location. Unless you have a character there already, then it only costs 1. It has a willpower of 8, and this location has 2 lore pips.
That's nice.
Now, but the other kicker to this RLS Legacy is the characters that are at this location have evasive. So it's once again a pseudo form of bodyguard, unless your opponent has an evasive threat available.
Yes.
So you have locations that are protecting your characters to essentially help you clear the way to quest freely on that race to 20. Now, this is our first take look on Set 7 Amber Ruby locations, but now it's over to Bjorn on his location deck. Tell us what you got.
Thank you for that TMP special. Really brings back some memories. Now here I am with just, I don't even know. Like what I was thinking when I built this, but it ended up being something really cool. Trust me.
I mean, I'm seeing Amethyst Emerald locations, right?
Yeah.
At least if I
Sounds
see
crazy.
Zazu, I'm gonna. Oh my lord!
I thought I was crazy as well.
Lord.
I thought I was crazy as well. Believe me. But somehow it works. We got Chernobog's followers. We got Diablo. We got Magic Broom. All of them are just like, hey, 1 cost that draw cards. Pretty good, especially combined with library. Spoiler alert, we have 4 libraries in the deck. Obviously, super great location. Zazu is interesting because if he is at a location, he gets 1 more lore. So he's a 1 cost 2/1 that quests for 2. Because of course we're gonna have locations. I have 20 locations here. Come on.
I mean, a 1 cost, the
It's
quest
happening.
for 2 being inkable is absurd.
Yeah, like there's almost no uninkables in this deck. So you can just go wild with it. And then we have this new Diablo, which is an evasive 1/2. However, challenger +2. So when you challenge with this Diablo, it's a 3/2. And if you put him in Hidden Cove, he's instead a 4/3 and will take out a genie, for example.
This is true.
Absolutely. Or just use crab to make it stronger. It works as well. And we got Kenai, who I think is a very interesting new card as well. He 1/4 but challenger +2, and if he gets banished in a challenge that you perform, then he goes back to hand and you gain a lore, which is pretty good in my opinion.
Wait
I
a
don't know
minute.
about you.
Wait a minute. So this character has challenger 2. When
Yeah.
it's banished, you return it to your hand and gain a lore.
Yeah.
but when it's banished in a challenge. So the only way to actually get rid of this card is with a piece of removal that is non-challenge oriented.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great. I mean, sure, Brawl defeats it, but no.
Okay.
Then of course Merlin Crab, as we mentioned earlier. You know, it gives. We're going to actually be challenging along this deck. Like, it is a fast deck, but we're not going to get lore from questing. We're going to get lore from locations mostly. So Merlin Crab just helps us with all of these challenges that we want to do early in the game to establish a board presence, right? And then we have,
what?
I swear, this card is considered one of the worst cards of all time. It is a meme how bad this card is considered. But can you read this for me?
Sure.
What does it say?
This is a 4-cost 6/6 named Treasure Guardian. It quests for 2. This character can't challenge or quest unless it's at a location.
And that's why people think it's a bad card. But can you take a second look at my deck and tell me, will it be a problem for us that Treasure Guardian has to be inside of a location? Will that come up?
Let me think here. I see 20 locations, so having a location won't be the problem. Let's examine the next step. Well,
how much does it cost to
putting
move?
it at a location is going to cost 1, no matter which location you choose to put it at.
Oh wow! Well, look, it sounds like it's really easy to put this in a location, huh?
It sounds like this card might actually be pretty good.
It's crazy. 6/6, 6 power, 6 willpower. It will just tear through anything. We talked about 5 being the magic number. Hello, I have 6 here.
Well, if you have it on the Cove, it can take out a Maui and survive.
It's a 7/7 on the Cove.
Okay.
That's true.
It can take out a Maui and survive on a Cove.
And and if we don't have anything else to do, we can always quest for 2 with it. It's a card. Okay, so let me see. Card Soldier. We just went over this. Card Soldier is really great because it costs 5. It's a 5/5 in quest for 2.
Yep.
This card costs 4. It's a 6/6 in quest for 2. So this. Can I say that this is just a way better Card Soldiers? Will you be mad?
I wouldn't be mad. I would say it's a 5-cost 6/6 that quests for 2, though, because you have to pay the 1 to get it to somewhere, right? So it's a 5-cost.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which means the stat line is still better, right? 5-cost 6/6
is just really great.
Stat line is still better.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference there after is inkability. But for you, it didn't really matter because this is the only uninkable in your deck. So.
Yeah, it's the only uninkable in my entire deck. So.
Oh my lord!
We lucked out there. Then I also have this Daisy Duck.
Oh,
Daisy Duck, the pirate
Daisy
captain.
Duck. I love it.
She's a 3/3 quest for 2, so she's fine for a 4-cost. Not a card soldier or anything, but that's fine. And whenever a pirate character quests at a location, draw a card. Now, she's the only pirate in here, but honestly, that's enough, right? If you play her, you put her at a location, and you quest with her, and then you get to draw a card. It's good enough for me. The other
Sapphire decks
weren't impressive.
Play Grandma Tala, right? Grandma Tala is a 4-cost 3/3 with a replacement effect and only 1 lore pip. So this has to survive 1 turn to quest to gain the replacement effect, but this one has 2 lore pips. So
exactly,
I see no problem playing this card. I love this card.
Exactly. So it's just a faster version. And then Shenzi.
Ooh. Tell me more.
Shenzi 0/6. However, when it's at a location, it gets +3. So it's essentially a 3/6. And if this character challenges another character and is at a location, which we've already gone through, that's not a problem for us. You get to draw a card.
So good.
A 3/6. When it challenges, you get to draw a card. It costs 4, essentially 5 then, since you have to move into a location. But, it's very, very useful. But we have better card draw. We have more cards than just those two, right? I mean, we have the one
Yeah.
drops and we have those, but now we get to the actual locations themselves.
All right.
Like we have Fairy Ship, which is just it costs 1. That's why it's here. It costs 1, 4 willpower, 1 lore pip. You can play it on turn 1, or you can play it on, I mean, anytime.
Yep.
It's a location. It exists. Low stats but low cost, so it's awesome.
So it almost feels like if you look at Fairy Ship and Deville Manor, since they're the exact same card with a different name,
It's the exact same card.
it's if you take the location mentality and just think that you're playing a 0/4 character that comes into play exerted and never readies.
Yeah, and just
But
quest for one.
every turn, it gains a lore, right?
Absolutely.
That's basically what a location is.
Yeah, so we know Daisy Duck is really powerful because she has 4 willpower. Well, these locations have 4 willpower. For a 1 cost, that's really great.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and then Hidden Cove is also a 1 cost. It has no lore pip. However, it's a very strong location. It has 6 willpower. So for a 1 cost, that's super huge.
Oh,
Can you
insane.
imagine a 1 cost character with 6 willpower? That's insane, right?
Absolutely. This might
And
be
also-
one of the most important cards in your deck.
Because when you move a character, like when a character is at this location, that character gets +1 strength, +1 willpower.
Well, now you've passed through Fairy Ship, Deville Manor, and Hidden Cove. Tell us about Library and Queen's Castle.
Well, the first 3 are, they're cheap locations. These ones are not, but they draw cards.
Absolutely.
They draw a lot of cards, right? The library draws cards when a character who is there gets banished. So you just put your characters there, and when they get banished, like, doesn't matter how, if you challenge with them, or if the opponent plays a Be Prepared, you get to draw a card for each of those characters. Or, the 1-drops, we have, like, Chernbox Followers and Magic Broom. If you just use their own abilities to draw a card, then they will draw 2 cards instead. So
Right.
that's just insane.
Card is really good.
And then we also, and then the Queen's Castle.
And this
Like,
card
it
was
costs
pretty
4.
popular for a while, and it kind of fell out of rotation, and I don't know why, because this card is still gas.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be that it costs 4, so it's a bit expensive for some people, but I think if we have a location deck, we can justify it, right? It costs
Of course.
4, it has 2 lore pips, that's awesome. 7 willpower, still pretty much, that's a lot, they survive some AoE. And for every character that is at the location at the start of my turn, I simply get to draw a card for each.
Sign me up.
So
Put me
yeah,
in the
so
game.
Daisy Duck and Shensi, they can draw you cards, but realistically, most of your card drawers gonna come from the library and Queen's Castle. Like that, they're just
for
gonna draw
sure.
you so many cards. It's ridiculous.
For sure. And then you have the 3 sets of 1-drops that are also replacement effects also.
Yep, and again, especially if you put them in the library, they're just gonna go nuts.
Insane advantage.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it with Bjorn's Amethyst Emerald location deck. Not 1, but 2 location decks on this episode.
2.
Now, once again, I am going to reiterate how much we appreciate each and every one of you that come out to these videos and take the time to watch
Absolutely.
them. Okay? If you have any idea of something for us to go ahead and put out in a video, we can make it happen. Okay? We read all the comments. If you have something you like, you didn't like, you want something to maybe make an edited version of the deck, we've had requests for making a budget deck. Why, I will also say shout out Bjorn. This deck says sub $30 right there. Okay, this deck is $29.80 at the moment. Okay, so we do follow along and read through all the comments and respond to everything as much as possible to every single one of them.
Yep, just leave a comment below.
Right down below, and we will get back to you. Once again, we appreciate you with the utmost from the bottom of our hearts. And until the next time, keep innovating.